Hey, Julius Erving, episode 8?
Hey,
8.
it sees the means.
Sees the means. We're a little unorthodox today. J.Carr is not yet arrived. Jake is out sick. We got the homie
Altoli or Arthur. Hey.
sitting in until J.Carr gets here. What's your name?
Esauce.
Esauce. Senor Pesto. And I'm DDot. The dot silent sometimes. So we're gonna get into like some current events before we get into some sports because the finals were last night. Yeah. But how you guys doing, man? What y'all been getting into recently?
You go
I
first.
mean, I feel like we just talked about all the stuff that
We talked about a lot of things that have been on our minds. Yeah. But we took a trip.
One aspect is I'll just sum it up as being spiritually minded. I've been on a quest that's been more like, said to be spiritual is to care about humans, animals, and the planet. And I've been on this sort of tip of reading a lot into what was going on in the Cultural Revolution in the 60s, and specifically Fred Hampton and different revolutionaries, and the idea of sort of combating sort of exploitive capitalism and like different other, like, not just fire with fire, but also figure out how to take the strength out of it, how to use community to try to shake things up a little bit, take a different.
We took a trip to your backyard to indulge in some bad habits, but you recently started a project. Can you tell them a little bit about what you just started?
Oh, I'm set up a couple garden beds. It's like 24 by 8, 2 beds that are 24 by 8. Gonna start growing as much fruit or much vegetables and plant tree here soon.
So
a couple.
sick.
Yeah, but I mean, just to be able to provide other people that come use the studio, use a space that rent space here, as well as potentially like pass out to the neighborhood and everybody. We're real close to a community, a bunch of families and everything. But I honestly don't know what the yield would be, but, potentially trying to raise some money for other endeavors. Maybe some other gardens. I would like the idea of potentially using other people's, like, empty-ass backyard to make a garden, be able to share the space, share the yeah, but I mean,
that way you
get
can
people
say,
in.
hey, man, you grow tomatoes, I'll grow squash. Yeah, I feel you.
Why do
Make
we
a
have to
medley.
use all why do we have to get it from another place? Why not use what's indigenous here and try to get as much, or nutrition from the source. Start there. See what we can do from that point.
And you're just building a real sense of community and pride. You're like a regular white Jesus.
Thank you, creator.
Okay.
Badooch. That's a joke. From the show Black Jesus, Slink Johnson's character, Jesus, tried to get everybody to grow and work together to build a community garden. And in that garden, they grew tomatoes. And they thought that the tomatoes were drugs, but in reality, they were just God's love because they were blessed.
Now, if anybody else wants to, has a space to deal God's drugs and be blessed, or be a part of any of this stuff, please let us know.
Dear
I would
God,
love to
bless
see
these
anybody else have any
drugs. Thank you,
ideas
Creator. Thank
that have
you.
to do with this kind of thing from grassroots, like changing, like bringing nutrition from our plate. Please speak up. Like, anybody has ideas, I just want to talk about it and commune and create synergy. That's all I care about.
Word. What you been on, Arthur? You were talking about your spiritual journey, connecting with your roots.
Yeah.
What have you? How long have you been on your journey first, and then second, how do you think that's impacted your life recently?
I mean, I found out on my mother's side that they had a relative that did that ancestry thing. And at the top of the list, it said Native American. And whenever it shows you that, it shows you what regions. And then I delved into that. Like I said, the ancestors came from Durango and Chihuahua. And they spoke Uto-Aztecan languages. Uto-Aztecan language, which is now what I imagine. I think they had their own sub-language. There's so many. But just learning about indigenous history about what really happened and just passing it on. A lot of my people have a big identity crisis, and it's really insane. You know, you got people giving other people shit for not learning Spanish when it's not your base language. Just passing on and anything positive that I can learn from that. I've just been passing it on as much as I can to family and friends.
Do you consider that it's not so much that people think that learning Spanish is like something that you should do, but rather it's more of a connection to recent history? So like by that I mean, like, I have homies that are from Mexico or Honduras or Colombia. A lot of their grandparents don't speak English. So that is a big reason why it has been stressed to them that it is important for them to know Spanish. That way they're able to speak to their grandparents or their relatives who don't speak English.
I have my feelings about the origins, but no, I agree it isn't necessary at this point. What I could do is become fluent and then say what I know, because they don't know. Like, people that are very, very much older than I am, like, they just simply don't know. It's not their fault. That shit was just like nearly eradicated, and thank whatever's looking down upon us that some of that history, well, actually that history survived. And it's insane. At a period, like I said, perseverance. They had to. Like, they learned what they made it happen. It's insane. It's really insane. I mean, I want to share more, but like, I'm still getting hip to everything. Learning. Yeah. So I can't really, like, I don't want to get anything. I don't want to say what I do know and get it wrong. So like, I could like.
Well, it's wild to me that they're like speak Spanish, speak the language of the colonists that it replaced your culture. That you're able to piece together
insane.
From fragments of a
I don't think that's strange at all. I think that's
happened.
how colonization
No, I know.
works.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's an interesting reflection of just being this colonist kind of like air. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even like, it's like a weird kind of. There's like a. You're in Texas, you speak American, and then it's like, well, fuck, this was Mexico. They speak Spanish, but then Spain was the colonists that destroyed native Mexicans. So it's almost like speak English that we're not talking about Navajo. You know what I mean? Like nobody speaks. Like, it's so fucking wild to me.
I found out that when all that was happening, they were forming like a dictionary of the Spanish, and some Spanish words are actually directly Nahuatl, which is insane. I think like coyote, which is coyote, is like I think that's directly just words like that are now, which is funny because
Spanish coyotes.
The natives.
No, I'm serious. Like, in Spain, are there coyotes?
I don't know.
Okay, but continue.
We should look that up.
Coyote. Coyote
no,
would
that's
be.
A good question.
I think coyote would be Spanish, but coyote is Nahuatl,
like,
and it's funny.
In Spain, they're like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah. Like, but the thing is, and Mexico, and Mexico.
Now I understand.
One thing is that the natives used to call the Spanish coyotes like coyotes, like sneak thieves, like they steal in the night. They're fucking scoundrels, I guess, so to speak. But the thing is, there's still like 2 million Nahuatl speakers in Mexico right now. It's not dead. Like, they still speak it. They speak Spanish as well, but like, you know. But the goal is to learn both so I can communicate these things. So when you ask me, like, I have my feelings about Spanish, but I'm going to. It's necessary. I have to.
Sometimes the people that need to learn the most are the people who have been colonized.
Yeah, dude.
So we're all like dealing with colonialism. Colonization.
Gotta break the mold, man. Break it.
We're all dealing with that. Right?
Break down that shit.
So like
time. And you know, the elders,
ways, though.
I told this to some younger people too. I told this some younger brown people, like, our elders prophesied this, that our generation would find what I know now.
Well, I mean, so far that does seem to be true, but I think that's because we have the tools, right?
Straight up,
if we look at like our parents and our grandparents, one, they didn't have the internet. Two, They didn't have the advances in science that we have to like do DNA testing and all that other shit.
True. Yeah.
So people had to rely on like photo albums and birth certificates and do a whole bunch of digging that just was inconvenient. And because it was such an inconvenient thing to do, people just didn't do it. So I think that's why we're the first generation that is taking an interest in those things, because we now have the capability of it. But it's similar to like, you ever heard the term an unknown unknown?
Think so.
People don't know what they don't know. So sometimes you know things that you don't know. Those are known unknowns. So like, I know I don't know how to do heart surgery, but I know heart surgery exists. But I don't know anything past that about heart surgery. Those are unknown unknowns. Make sense?
No unknowns.
Well, heart surgery is a known unknown.
Yeah, that's what it's actually.
But the different parts about why somebody might need heart surgery, or different parts of the heart, or different types of heart surgery.
But it's within a realm of something that you know you don't know. So I still feel like it's still kind of in
Sure.
there. But whereas like, I don't know, if
I
you
understand.
weren't aware of viruses in the 1600s, or like
Right.
you didn't know in 1323 that there were some Spanish motherfuckers that were planning to come and just totally destroy your way of life.
True.
Just chilling. We're doing good. We're rolling heads off a hill. We're
sophisticated
like,
people. They were
like, and had no idea
they had
that there was Spanish Jesus coming.
Dog, they had.
I'm sorry.
No,
Hey, look, there's some boats over there. I'm gonna see what they want.
Bruh, the natives had their own.
no.
The natives had their own. Like Aztecs, they had their own barbershops, their libraries. There were scholars. They had astrologists.
Didn't they have like kind of like societies and like irrigation,
aqueducts,
and shit like that?
and a crazy
so
they were very cleanly.
They came.
Yeah.
I don't think it was like Plymouth. I think it was like when they first came and ran into Native Americans. There was all kinds of kept gardens, and they were able to like end up using less land to feed more people and all this stuff. But I think that when they came back later on, there was already so much like death from the viruses and diseases that the Europeans brought, that actually a third of the people died by the time they came back to really fuck with everybody. So it was like a bunch of people just started. They came back to a sick population. I mean, they had trouble then. Had they not come to a sick population that was already just ravaged by European diseases, they might not have actually succeeded and destroy the native population.
Yeah, and they just didn't have the immune system to deal with that shit.
What blew my mind was like, it was like what we were watching with the like a case like with the Romans. Like they just came in and like that's exactly how it was with Spanish and Indigenous. Like same thing. They come out and and only a few survive, and they get enslaved, or they have to, assimilate, or they become allies to their enemy. It just happens.
There was an island like off Central America. My brother visited during his honeymoon or whatever. But it was like there's literally like a tower of all the pottery from this society that basically Spain came over and just killed everybody and built this tower out of. Like so, it was like literally nobody. Yeah. It was literally they just built a little tower out of all their pottery. That's it.
Wow.
Read about the Toltecs.
So many of that, like in all those ancient things you're talking about. Like Rome showed up. There's like Carthage, was like they just level everything and spent like days murdering like 50,000 people or like however many people like. Or maybe it was like a million, like just street by street, and then to destroy them from existence. So when we read about Carthage, they were just like a plague of people that were gone. They're just literally like we have literally the Romans version of them, and then some pottery or some shit. That's it. They're literally, and so it's just wild to think like where we're at now. Like how like, people think we're so secure, but it's just like they're just chilling, and all of a sudden, like a few weeks later, they're under siege for like a year until that. I don't know.
Until the last person is.
Well, they're saying they were like literally women were cutting their hair to create rope for catapults to survive. You know, and down at the point where the 10% that survived just got sold into slavery. So their culture got mixed into It's the same thing. It's like.
I also wanted to add that. Well, okay, if you look at the map of the United States before. Whatever, it was all natives, like just literally the whole country was different tribes, and the thing, and also the earliest traces of Native American DNA was 140,000 years ago in Asia.
Yeah.
And
Pangea.
So,
Pangea.
what does that mean? You
The
know?
world was more connected.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Pangea.
And read about the Toltecs too. Like a lot of the Aztec culture came from Toltecs, and not a lot is known about Toltecs. Toltecs. Like Aztecs used to raid the old temples and like bring their like artwork and like their pottery and everything or whatever it was they could find. But I was it runs deep. It runs really deep.
Well, that's weird that
insane.
it's I didn't know China or Asia. I'm sorry, Asia.
Yeah.
But
Think about it.
Are there pyramids? There aren't pyramids in Asia though. The same way. It's just in Africa.
Are there?
In Central? There's more pyramids in Central America.
Yes, there are.
Than actually in Egypt, from what I understand.
Yeah.
But they were like small. They're much smaller.
Are there? I'm pretty sure there are pyramids in Asia. I just don't know.
But anyway, I'm just curious if it was like, you know, when they
got.
got separated, if they both went off in separate things and ended up doing pyramids, or where that also, whatever. It's just, you know, but it's
Conspiracy theory. I think pyramids are from aliens.
If you look at how like intricate and all that shit is, it's
I do.
That's insane.
But,
I
you
think
know, whatever.
exploitation of the land and probably our current forms of government are probably have to do. I mean, like maybe the religion of the universe is fascism, but you know.
Indonesia. Yeah, Indonesia. They have pyramids in Indonesia. So they're all over the world. This is why I think that it's aliens. But I don't know, whatever, fuck it.